Hi everybody, this is the Dog H. Weber with another edition of Weber on Sports Express here on FingerLakes1.com. What a yucky weekend. Hey, but let me tell you something, folks. We're all a little prop along with me today, and we're going to have a little fun with you. Question is I have out to my audience is, question, what do you call 5 meteorologists in a conference room? 2 words. Give up? How about clueless and hopeless? Let's flash back to last Friday night. Yankee Stadium, Game 1, 8:37, first pitch on TBS. National audience, millions of people, 48,000 plus expected at the stadium. Bud Selig, that old archaic commissioner, thank God he's retiring after the World Series this year. He commissioned 5 meteorologists to come to the stadium and work on their weather patterns to determine whether or not Game 1 could be played as scheduled. After all, it's a major inconvenience if you bring 48,000 people. After all, not everybody's rich. These poor people on fixed incomes and people who have very limited resources have to pay 25 to 50 bucks to park their cars. Well, guess what? After about 4.5 hours looking at weather, barometric pressure, humidity, wind speed, they determined that it could be played as scheduled 8:37 Friday night. They called it light rain. The game went on. Ladies and gentlemen, top of the second, Detroit's at bat. Can you say thundering downpour? Thundering downpour. It was horrific. Once again, the meteorologists who get paid to predict the weather, 5 of them sat in a conference room at Yankee Stadium and couldn't get it right. Thus, all these people had to leave the stadium. The game got suspended. They picked it up the next day. I'm telling you, folks, the most overrated profession in the world is a meteorologist. They shouldn't get paid a dime. They are clueless when it comes to predicting the weather. Let's forget about the term light rain. From now on, folks, let's talk about 2 words, thundering downpour. Well, as baseball playoffs go, Milwaukee cruising against Arizona, 2-0 lead. They go out west. I don't see Milwaukee losing this series. Hey, credit to Ansoff and you Cardinal fans. I never thought you could beat the Phillies, but you did. That series is tied 1-1. That goes back to St. Louis. I may never show up at the SMS again if the Cardinals were to beat the Phillies. Don't bet on it. The American League, Texas, Tampa Bay, 1-1. Give Tampa Bay credit. The darlings of baseball playoffs. Now they go back to Tropicana. Series tied 1-1. And the Yankees lose, of course, yesterday. And, of course, that series now is tied 1-1. What's up with A-Rod? Is he in charge of bringing out the Gatorade? When are you going to do something for us, A-Rod? Hello, you're getting $22.5 million a year. The Boo Birds are working hard at the stadium. And I told you weeks ago on this show, and if you don't believe me, go back and check out the videos. We don't lie, the tape doesn't lie. I had suspicion and really concerns about the Yankee pitching. Bottom line, Yankee universe, it's like this. You better pray that CC Sabathia brings home a W tonight against Verlander. Because if it doesn't happen and the Yankees go behind in this series 2-1, I say it's adios, amigo. See ya. Hasta la vista. Why? Who's pitching 4th game? Carol Burnett. Give it up, folks. You got to get Sabathia with a victory tonight. SU football, let's change topics. They called Doug Marrone a good coach. A lot of people like him. I've always had doubts in his calling at crucial times in games. They lose to lowly Rutgers this past weekend, but I thought one of the plays that I called stupid and moronic was 4th and 10, 29 seconds ago, ball on the Rutgers 40, game tied. I would have punted it. But what's he do? He goes for it, gets intercepted. Thank God the kid missed the field goal. Of course, Bailey fumbles it in overtime. The Syracuse team goes down to lowly Rutgers, who, by the way, was picked to finish dead last in the Big East for football. But don't get excited. Don't get excited, Syracuse fans. Looking at that schedule, you're going to trip over 8 wins. Why? You got Tulane this week. Tulane football. Not exactly Alabama or LSU. Tulane lost to Duke by 30. 30. They lost to Army this past weekend by 30. If Syracuse can't go down there and manhandle Tulane, stay in New Orleans, enjoy it. Also, they got Louisville coming up. Louisville is horrible. Louisville lost to Marshall. Marshall. The only guy I always heard was Marshall was Thurgood Marshall, the Supreme Court Justice. Then they got, Paul Pasqualoni and the Connecticut team. They're horrible too. No wonder they ran Pasqualoni out of the Dome years ago. Who did they lose to this weekend? Western Michigan. So folks, relax if you're an SU fan. I know it's a bitter pill to lose. I know Kenny's two pennies will probably go hoarse during his broadcast. But trust me, they're going to trip over eight wins because they got a very weak schedule. Let's talk about the NFL. Okay, Dallas, 27-3 lead at home. 27-3 lose. Give it up, Jerry Jones. Take your golden boy, Tony Romo. Get him a part-time job at Dunkin' Donuts. Get him on the bench. Bring somebody else in. He's obviously gag material. How about Philly losing a 23-3 lead? What's going on with that vaunted dream team? And of course, the Jills/Bills, they came back to earth, leading 17-3, losing to lowly Cincinnati. And the New York Jets, 2 words from the Weber Sports Express show. Shut up, Rex. Stop talking about how great your team is. Stop talking about going to the Super Bowl. Your team is horrible. You got rammed right out of the stadium last night in Baltimore, 34-17. Give it up. The only way you and your team are going to get to the Super Bowl is buy a freaking ticket. This story on Marcellus, JV football coach, who loses to Skinny Ellis in a JV football game, orders the bus driver to take his team to a cemetery. I can't make this stuff up. He gets the kids out of the bus. They got their uniforms on, their cleats on, their helmets on, tells them to kneel down in the cemetery. Then he tells them to lay down in the cemetery. What? Are you kidding me? The only guy I could ever think in my history of maybe wanting to do that was the bullet man, George Davis. By the way, this coach doesn't get terminated by the superintendent. He only fines him 4 weeks' pay. If you're keeping track, that's $1,500. Wacko should be gone out of Marcellus for life. By the way, this guy's a wacko who should get terminated, and he's not going to get terminated. How about the bus driver? Nobody's talking about either it was the woman or the man driving the bus. Are you going to take these kids to a strip bar if the coach says after the game? Where's the responsibility of the bus driver? You take them back to school. Ridiculous. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I got to tell you something. I enjoy doing this show, and one of the reasons I enjoy doing the program is to bring up our Persons of the Week. How about kudos going out to the Waterloo Girls Volleyball team, who ended Wayne's 29-match league winning streak a couple of days ago. Kudos to head coach Crystal Jensen from Weber on Sports Express. Lindsey Johnson and Lara Braun led the way. And my hometown, the Lyons Girls High School Volleyball team, they gave their head coach, Matt Barr, his 200th victory, 200th win over arch rival East Rochester. Hey, by the way, we are blessed to have great sponsors on the Weber on Sports Express show. Zuzu's starts a new thing. First Friday of every month, they're going to have dinners starting at 7 o'clock. There's still some reservations available. Check out Sunshine and Zuzu's. They got about 6 or 7 entrees. Going to have a little jazz quartet working. Going to have some artists in the house. Going to be a lot of fun. So check out Zuzu's if you'd like to join us for dinner this coming Friday night. Well, ladies and gentlemen, go Yankees, go CC. CC don't win. I say it's over for the Bronx Bombers. Join us for the Dog and Paulie podcast on Wednesday. Our special guest, John King, the actor of all actors. We hope that you've enjoyed the show. Take care, everybody. Light rain, my foot.